Jason Gray paved the way, changed the rain, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tight as set, high and deadly, I'm a fighter jet, Jeremy.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's the OG Boricua Don Dada, a.k.a. the man dealing with a storm. I'm here with none other than Mr. MLW Confusion. Rob, I'm here with Mr. Muffins Martinez. Gentlemen, I think I'm going to play. Well, you do the plugs. I'm going to be the sidekick today. I don't care who talks because I don't know if I'm going to be breaking in and out.
That is fair. That we finally started hearing the storm in your background, so we'll try to push through this, as fast as our big mouths can get through it, and hope for the best. Anyway, so jumping right into things, it's been about 1 week since the original tweet came out. MLW asked the fans, as I punch my microphone, who they'd like to see back in the promotion for at least a one-shot appearance, and of the four choices, of course, fans got their own. The only person who responded to this, to my knowledge, was Salina de la Renta. Of course, because we are professional wrestling fans on the internet, we have to start speculating wildly about what this means. And then, of course, fantasy book how we're going to bring her back into the fold. Because, of course, depending on which level of the multiverse we want to play in, she's either still in a storage locker in Cesar Duran's basement, or if you go by her version of the multiverse, she had an inside man assist her in escaping via helicopter. But that was never formally acknowledged by MLW. So I open the floor to you, gentlemen. Who wants to jump in first and speculate wildly?
You know what? I want to speculate wildly because I think that it feels like, and we've talked that El Jefe's clock might be ticking in MLW, right? Like, I don't want to wish that because I love El Jefe. I think he's a great character. But if you're eventually going to say, all right, we had our time. If Azteca Underground worked, it did not work. We know what we can do and bring back one of the most popular people in MLW, which is Salina de la Renta. And if she's the one who, if she was assisted and kidnaps him, it's an easy transition to go, we love El Jefe, but Salina de la Renta is the one. We know her record, we know what she is. And with Promotions Dorado, it wouldn't be a far-fetched thing to get El Jefe taken out. And it kind of still fits in with the whole Latin movement that they were doing with El Jefe as well. Because it's kind of what her whole roster was built off of. Even when people think low-key's Puerto Rican too. You know what I mean? So all these people and everything else, I think that's what happens. I think she comes back, she takes up.
Yeah, I just think it's just how convenient it is that they make this thing on MLW and they put the little poll, and a couple of days later, they're coming back to Fusion with the Mexico tapings. So, I just kind of find it kind of like, okay, they kind of just like put the little crumb here one day, and then a week later, here's more crumbs. Now Mexico tapings coming up. And like you said, this is the perfect time for her to come back. After a couple of weeks, somebody finds it down there. They're looking for Cesar Duran. They hear this female crying, like the last time we saw somebody crying in a room, or when Holiday was looking for Hammer and saved them. And right now it could be what's the guy, the blonde hair guy with Taya and
Sam Adonis.
Yeah, Sam Adonis. They had the posters of MIA looking for Cesar, so he could be down there somewhere looking through all those rooms or whatever. Boom, finds De La Renta, brings her out. She swears that she's going to help him find them, and then she has her own ulterior motives to kind of say, yeah, I help you guys find them. And then later on, whenever the tapings finish with Mexico, she's back on the fold. And like you said, they could just a continuation of a storyline from last year or 2 years ago, So it could work, man. I mean, I could see something like that happening where they find her, she comes back, and right leading to until June and into the live July 8th MLW pay-per-view, she could be taking over for a stakeout on the ground or whatever. But now Promoción Dorada, her thing right there, start bringing her own people back. And there you go. I hope you got your Moses boat and you got the kids ready to go just in case there's a flood down there in your cycle. I hear that thunder rocking. Boy.
Is it? It's coming. You can hear it still.
Yeah,
hear it, man.
It's coming through.
Hope you got the boys and the dogs and your wife ready to go just in case. Get the boat ready.
Oh, we're ready. We're ready.
All right. Throw my 2 cents in. I finally pulled up the tweet while we were all talking, and really, like, of the 4 choices, the choices were Salina, Sabu, CM Punk, and Jim Cornette. And of those 4 choices, really the only logical one to, like, even remotely, like, come back would be Salina. And the only one who's had real recent history of those 4 is Salina de la Renta.
Also, if any show that happens in the ECW arena, any one of those ECW regions were gonna show up anyways. Sabu, right. Blue Meanie, all those guys just pop up. Sandman,
it would be
have drunk and out of on pills or whatever, do something. So those guys will show up. Oh, we're ECW arena. Oh, we're gonna be there. Buy a ticket, just sit in the stands, and then just run in.
Can the man make his point, bro?
It wouldn't be a Philly taping without the Blue Meanie, so I don't know what you're complaining about.
Dude, it's all the same guy. Blue Meanie, Sabu, Renta. Come on, man.
I'm just also going to point out that when I throw out the 4 of them, I'm not sure what kind of condition Sabu is to be in the ring anymore as well. Like, he is definitely winding down. I know he's had a couple of health scares recently as well. Not to say that it's impossible, nothing is impossible in the realm of professional wrestling. And even if it's just to show up, hit a guy with a chair and, move along. But for the purposes of this here rant, I full on agree. Like, if any of them is going to come back, it's going to be Salina. And honestly, if they're going to bring her back, it's going to come back. Well, they almost have no choice in the matter to make her a hand in the disappearance of El Jefe. Even if they would bring Promociones Dorado back as a rival faction, like, you still have to address that she was kidnapped. And so I definitely plays hand in hand in El Jefe's disappearance. However, I can actually see Sam Adonis being like a mole or a rat in the Azteca group, jumping over to Promociones Dorada, because he is the only one of that little faction that doesn't have a real history with Cesar Duran, at least through MLW. I will say I am not familiar with other AAA stuff and anything else Cesar Duran may have done in between the MLW Azteca and Lucha Underground, but at least Taya and Johnny Mundo, MLW, Hennigan, insert name here, all have history from Lucha Underground. So it wouldn't surprise me as he, at least storyline wise, he thinks he's got himself like one of the hottest tickets in Mexico in Sam Adonis, and Sam just follows the money. Yeah. Like, he's just a merc.
Pesos. Mexican pesos.
Yeah. And so Salina just, makes it rain a little bit more in his direction, and boom, like, she's got herself an someone to build the new Promociones Dorado around.
But we just labeled him a mole and a rat.
Well,
that was him. Rob did not mean.
I'll eat that one. I'm okay. I'm okay. I mean, it's my theory. I put it out there. I am obviously fine with it.
Let's point the finger who said it. It wasn't us. It was him. We're safe.
And if you just want me to go deeper, like how much of a rat he could be, I mean, he's Corey Graves' brother, so I can't trust him. Let's face it.
All right. I don't know what's going on with the Corey Graves thing.
No, they're shoot related. They're siblings, like IRL.
Whoa. Okay.
But
yeah,
that's just me being a jerk right there overall. Right? There's no valid reason for me to like throw Corey under the bus on this
at all whatsoever. But hey, that was him, not us.
Hold on, before we go into anything else, what do you think of him being the? I mean, listen, I'm not saying it makes sense because it does make sense and it does work, right? Like it does fit into the character of Sam Adonis.
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
So are you going to co-sign that he's a mole?
No, I'm not going to sign he's a mole. But if
he's a mole, he's a mole. If you think that's what it is, it's what it is.
Well, I mean, you can actually see him be doing that if it actually will come down to that. But we're not calling him a mole, though. I'm just saying.
You're trying to be politically correct. You're trying to say something without saying something.
Yes.
He just doesn't want to commit to that part of the storyline yet. You know.
I just don't want to get my ass whooped by Sam Adonis by calling him you
know his work, right?
Like that.
I know you know his work from Mexico, right? Like he's a pretty big deal there, right?
Oh yeah, huge.
Okay, so do you think that if this, all right, obviously Aztec Underground tailors more towards luchadors and what the culture is there, right? So Sam Adonis kind of turning his back on what bring him in, do you think that makes him like an instant mega heel with MLW to the entire fan base that loved him? Because remember, El Jefe is such a big character. If you cross him, a lot of fans are going to feel away.
Well, I mean, I if I can cut in, like honestly, like I could see him being with or without, stable around him. I think at least for MLW, he's got the tool set to be like the heel. He's good on the mic. He's good in the ring. You know, he's got that abjectly punchable personality about him. Like I kind of want to pay money to see him get beat up. You know, and really, like MLW's kind of lacking that overall right now. I feel like absolutely. Because like if we wanted to say like the calling, I feel like the calling, like no one's gonna want us to pay to see them get beat up. Like we may want to pay to see them potentially, but they're a little I think they're a little too cool to be like the despicable heel guy, where Sam Adonis is just character-wise just straight up weasel. And then he infuriates you because he can back it up in the ring.
And Jacob Fatu used to be a heel, and now he's a favorite with SST. Kane is a heel, but you see him being cheered more than anything else now. Yeah. I mean, and then you got Johnny Mundo, who's left, and he's on his way out the door whenever they resume the United States tapings or whatever. So there's really now like one main heel there.
He's not on the July 8th card, right? I didn't see his name. I don't remember.
Well, they're still bringing names in. They're still saying names. So, yeah.
Yeah, because so when I had to look, I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to figure out who.
I'm pulling up the list, and I don't see him on the July tapings anyway.
Okay, so.
But like I said, today's March or May 23rd. We still have a month to go, so you never know if they add them for a match against somebody.
Yeah, they've only announced one match.
Yeah, because I saw earlier that from 7 to 8, they're gonna do a fusion taping there, and then start the pay-per-view right at 8 o'clock. So you never know if they do something for fusion, write them off, or something like that. So
I know, and Rob is right. I know the only match that they have said was Alex Kane versus Hammerstone, but there's a list of names of people who will be in action.
Yeah, they're regular people that are always there. And then, like they mentioned somebody's name earlier that we'll talk about next at the next show, and then most likely they'll do that every other day or something like that. They'll announce one person like, oh shit, okay, I didn't see that name coming. Like the name that we're gonna talk later, we didn't see that name coming till.
So wow. We talked some Salina de la Renta, we talked some El Jefe, we talked about Sam Adonis being a mole and a rat.
And the Thunder.
Oh my God, it's nuts. So you can find Rob. Actually, Rob, plug all the stuff because I know you have it there, but plug all the stuff so we can get it out of here and start the second one real quick.
All right. So, the only thing I have up now is the Blood and Thunder stuff. But for plugs, of course, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. The Urban Wrestling Network. So just hit all those buttons below. I'm certain we'll get all the merch stuff in the comments if we care that much. Follow the guys on Twitter. You know, Other Rob's got his stuff up there. I've got my Twitter handle up there. Muffins is lacking in that department, but you know, if you stalk through us, you'll find it. I can't remember his handle off the top of my head. Also, in the meanwhile, if you're feeling more audio than visual, MLW Confusion drops every Friday via Spotify for podcasters, but can be found wherever you get your podcasts. Usually drops on YouTube Monday-ish, depending on whenever we get all our stuff together, but it's like clockwork Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on the audio networks. So we will be, I guess we're going back to Fusion stuff, so that'll be an exciting week for the MLW.